Welcome back to the German lesson series. If you are joining us for the first time, this lesson builds on previous material, but the concepts here are presented clearly enough that you can follow along with a bit of focus. Today we are covering the Präsens, the German present tense. This is one of the most structured and predictable areas of German grammar. Once you understand the underlying system, conjugation becomes a matter of pattern recognition rather than rote memorization. By the end of this session, you will be able to conjugate regular verbs, recognize and apply strong verb verbal shifts, handle the most common irregular verbs, and understand the fixed position of the word in German sentence structure. Let us begin. Here is our plan for today. We will proceed in three stages. First, verb stems. Identifying the core of any German verb. This is foundational without the correct stem. No ending will produce the right result. Second, endings. The standard suffixes that indicate the subject performing the action. German endings are precise. They remove ambiguity about who is doing what. Third, irregularities. Strong verbs and fully irregular verbs that deviate from the standard pattern. We will examine exactly where and how these deviations occur so they become manageable rather than overwhelming. Let us move to the core formula. German present tense conjugation follows a clear, predictable formula verb stem plus ending. This applies to the vast majority of verbs. You begin with the base of the verb, which is the stem, and attach a specific ending that corresponds to the subject pronoun. The six subject pronouns in German are ich, du, sie, es, wir, ihr, and sie or sie. Each requires its own ending. This system is highly regular. The challenge most learners face is not the complexity of the rules but rather the discipline to apply them consistently. Once the pattern becomes automatic, conjugation is straightforward. Let us examine how to isolate the stem correctly. In German dictionaries, verbs are listed in the infinitive form, the equivalent to the English to form. Nearly all German infinitives end in en, with a small number ending in n. To find the verb stem, remove the en ending. What remains is your foundation. Examples: machen to make becomes mak, gehen to go becomes gehe, trinken to drink becomes trink. A note on pronunciation: the stem may look incomplete when standing aloud. That is expected. The stem is not meant to function independently, it is a building block. The endings provide the grammatical completeness. With the stem identified, we will now attach the appropriate endings. This table contains the standard endings for regular verbs. Memorizing these six endings is one of the highest return investments you can make in learning German. For ich, I, the ending is e. For du, the informal singular you, the ending is st. This is used with friends, families, peers, children, etc. For er, sie, es, he, which is he, she, it, the ending is t. For the ending is en. Notice that this matches the infinitive ending. For ear, the informal plural you, the ending is t. For z or z, they or the formal you, meaning the ending is en. Again identical to the infinitive. The full sequence is e, st, t, n, t, n. Repeating this sequence aloud helps commit it to memory. Let us apply the endings to a concrete example. Lernen to learn. The stem is learn. Ich lerne. I learn. Du lernst. You learn. Er, sie, es learnt. He, she, it learns. That way. Wir lernen. We learn. Er lernt. You all learn. Sie or sie lernen. They learn or you formal learn. Observe that the stem remains unchanged throughout, only the ending varies. This is the hallmark of the regular conjugation. When you encounter a new verb, your first assumption should be that it follows this pattern. Most do. Let us reinforce this with two additional examples. Spielen to play. Stem spiel. Ich spiele, du spielst, er spielt. Wir spielen, ihr spielt, sie spielen. The pattern is identical to learning. The endings do not change based on the stem. They are fixed to the pronoun. This consistency is what makes the system learnable. One more regular example, and then we will address an important phonetic consideration. Hören, to hear. Stem, hör. The umlaut is the part of the stem and remains in all forms. Ich höre, du hörst, er hört, wir hören, ihr hört, sie hören. The umlaut does not affect the endings in any way. It is simply a feature of this particular stem. Treat it as part of a base and proceed normally. Now, a specific rule applies when the stem itself ends in certain consonants. The rule exists for reasons of pronunciation. When a verb stem ends in T, D, or A consonant or a cluster ending in N or M, adding ST or T directly would produce a cluster that is difficult to articulate clearly. German resolves this by inserting an extra E, which is a phonetic buffer, before the ending in the du, er, sie, es, and ear forms. Example: Arbeiten, stem Arbeit. Without the buffer, do arbeits would be nearly unpronounceable. With the buffer, do arbeitest. Similarly, er arbeitet and ihr arbeitet. This is not optional. Omitting the buffer is a clear error and will mark your German as non fluent. The rule is straightforward. When the stem ends in T, D, N, or M, insert E before ST and T endings. Now, not all verbs follow the regular pattern perfectly. Strong verbs are a category of highly common irregular verbs. They retain the standard endings but undergo an internal vowel change in the stem during conjugation. The example on screen is geben, to give. The base stem is geb, but in certain forms the E changes to I, pronouncing gib. This internal shift can seem arbitrary at first, but it follows predictable patterns grouped by vowel change. More importantly, the shift is limited in scope, meaning it does not apply to all forms of the verb. Let us examine exactly where it occurs. Here is the critical insight that makes strong verbs manageable. The stem vowel change occurs only in the singular form of du and er, zs. It does not occur in the ish form and it does not occur in any plural form. The ish form, along with wir, ihr, and z or the formal z, retains the original vowel stem exactly as a regular verb would. This means you need only memorize the shift for true two pronouns per verb. The remaining four forms are regular. This significantly reduces the memorization burden. Let us now examine the four main vowel shift groups. Group 1 is the most common strong verb pattern. A short E in the stem changes to a short I. This affects only du and er, sie, es. Geben, to give. Ich gebe, du gibst, er gibt, wir geben, ihr gebt, sie geben. Essen, to eat. Ich esse, du isst, or er ist, wir essen, ihr esst, sie essen. Sprechen, to speak. Ich spreche, du sprichst, er spricht, wir sprechen, ich sprecht, sie sprechen. Notice that in each case, ich and all plural forms keep the original E. Only du and er, sie, es receive the I. This pattern is consistent across the entire group. Group 2. Verbs with a long E sound shift to I, which is pronounced as a long E. The sound remains similar, but the spelling changes to reflect the shift. Sehen, to see. Ich sehe, du siehst, er sieht, wir sehen. Listen, to read. Ich lese, du liest, er liest, wir lesen. The regular forms would be du siehst and du lässt. The shift to siehst and lässt is what makes these as strong verbs. Again, only du and er, sie, es are affected here. Group 3. Verbs with a in the stem gain an umlaut, shifting only the vowel sound. Only du and er, sie, es are affected. Fahren, to drive. Ich fahre, du fahrst, er fahrt, wir fahren, schlafen, to sleep. Ich schlafe, du schlaft, er schlaft, wir schlafen, tragen, to wear or carry. Ich trage, du tragst, er tragt, wir tragen. The umlaut is a distinct phonetic change. It is essential to pronounce it correctly as it differentiates meaning in many contexts. The written form must include the umlaut. Omitting it is a spelling error. Group 4 is smaller but follows the same logic. The diphthong AU gains an umlaut, producing a sound similar to OY. Only do and SGS are affected. Laufen to run or walk. Ich laufe, du laufst, er lauft, wir laufen. Saufen to drink heavily. Ich saufe, du saufst, er sauft, wir saufen. This pattern holds. Singular shift for do and er, sie, es, regular forms for ich and all plurals. If you internalize this single principle, strong verbs become far less intimidating. Let us examine given in full. This table makes this pattern explicit. Ich gehe, which is no change. Du gibst, which converts E into an I. Er gibt, which also converts E into an I. Wir geben means no change. Er gibt, it's also no change. Sie geben, no change. The stem vowel reverts to the original form in all plural forms. This is not an exception, it is the rule. The singular shift is precisely that, singular and limited to do and as. Study this table until the pattern is automatic. Given is extremely common and mastering its conjugation will serve you in countless contexts. Sein follows the same structural logic. Is say regular. Do siehst E converts it to an IE. Do siehst E converts into an IE. As it's also the same, E converts into an IE. Wir sehen regular. Ihr seht regular. Sie sehen regular. The addition of the I alters the pronunciation noticeably. The distinction between say, zest and zist is clear to native speakers, so accuracy matters. As a learning strategy, write out the full conjugation of the each strong verb that you encounter. The physical act of writing reinforces the pattern more effectively than passive reading. Fahren. Ich fahre regular. Du fast, which A converts into an umlaut A. Fahrt means it's the same thing. A converts into an umlaut A. Wir fahren regular. Fahrt regular. Sie fahren regular. The umlaut appears exclusively for do and SES. The precision is characteristic of German grammar. Rules apply exactly where they are stated to apply and nowhere else. Strong verbs are one category of irregularity. There is another category, verbs that are entirely irregular and must be memorized as complete forms. Sein, to be, is the most important irregular verb in German. Like the English equivalent, it does not follow any derivable pattern. Each form must be memorized individually. Ich bin, I am. Du bist, you are. Er ist, he is. Wir sind, we are. Ihr seid, you all are. Sie sind, they are. None of these forms can be generated from a stem plus ending. There is no stem to extract. This is pure memorization territory. However, sign is so frequently used that memorization happens naturally to exposure. My recommendation, create flashcards and drill them daily for 1 week. After that, the forms will be automatic. Happen to have is mostly regular, but drops the B from the stem in the do and SGS forms. Ich habe regular, du hast not habst. Er hat not habt. Wir haben regular. Sie haben, which is also regular. So the irregularity is limited to two forms, do and as yes. The rest follow standard rules. This partial irregularity is common in high frequency words. They retain traces of older Germanic forms that have been regularized over time. Haben is essential for forming the perfect tense, so learning it thoroughly now will pay significant dividends in future lessons. Conjugating verbs correctly is necessary but not sufficient. You must also place them correctly within the sentence. In standard German declarative sentences, the conjugative verb occupies the second grammatical position without exception. This is known as V2 verb word order. The verb functions as the anchor of the sentence. Even when you move a time expression or location to the beginning of emphasis, the verb remains in position 2. The subject and other two elements rearrange around it. Example, ich lerne heute Deutsch. Position verb in position 2. For emphasis, heute lerne ich Deutsch. Heute is now in position 1. The verb lerne remains in position 2. The subject ich moves to position 3. This rigidity is a defining feature of German syntax. Violating V2 order produces sentences that are immediately recognizable as non-native. Questions follow a simple and elegant rule to form a yes or no question. Move the verb from position 2 to position 1. The subject and verb effectively exchange places. Statement: Du lernst Deutsch. Question: Lernst du Deutsch? Statement: Er ist here. Question: Ist er here? No auxiliary verb is required. No additional particles. The verb alone placed at the beginning signals that the sentence is interrogative. This directness is one of the effectiveness of German grammar. Let us apply what we have covered. First, let's identify the correct ending for Maken with where. But before that, I will give you 20 seconds, do all the 5 questions, and we will meet. Okay, time's up. So let's see the first answer. So the here the stem is mark, and the first position there is where. So the ending will be en, which makes the result as where maken. Second, spielen with air. So here spiel, and then there will be the ending of t, which means air spielt. Then the third, ear find. So what will be the ending of find? It will be finded, which makes it ear finded. Then ish hor. So the ending of the hor will be e, ish hore. So review any errors carefully because the buffer rule in particular is easy to overlook when working quickly. Okay, now for strong verb practice, how does expression change for do? So I will give you another 20 seconds here. Solve all the 4 questions again, then we will do it. Okay, time up. So the first one will be here the E will change into an I, which makes it do spritz. How does schlafen change for air? So the since the A converts into an umlaut A, the result will be air schlaft. How does Zn change for Z? Since E converts into an IE, the result will be Z seat. Does gain change for where? No, where is a safe form. So the result will be where gehen. The principle is consistent. Only do and as the s trigger the vowel shift. Test yourself on additional strong verbs until this becomes automatic. To conclude, here are the 5 core rules governing the German present tense. 1. Stems. Remove en from the infinitive to isolate the stem. 2. Endings. Attach e, st, t, n, t, en according to the subject pronoun. 3. The singular shift. Strong verbs alter the stem vowel. E converts into an I, E converts into an IE, A converts into an umlaut A, converts into an AU umlaut. But exclusively in the do and as yes forms, ish and all plurals remain regular. 4. Word order. The conjugative word is fixed in position 2 in all declarative sentences. 5. Irregulars. Verbs like sein and haben must be memorized in full. They are few in number but extremely high in frequency. If you internalize these 5 rules, you have the framework for conjugating the overwhelming majority of German verbs accurately. The rest is practice and exposure. Now that we have learned the theory, let's practice using our German practice hub. This is the exact weapon you will need to conquer everything about German. This platform is called the German Practice Hub. This platform is designed to help you in reinforce what you have just learned through interactive sessions instead of simply reading grammar rules. At the top, you will notice that here there will be a prompt for the quiz length. If you are short on time, you can select 5 questions. If you like to be comfortable or need more practice, you can choose 10 or 15 instead. This lets you learn at your own pace. You will also see a cheat sheet button. This is very useful if you want to do a quick reminder of the grammar rules or sentence structure while you are practicing. Instead of searching through your notes, everything is available in one place. Also, the practice hub has two sessions. The first one is learn the theory. If you click on open masterclass, you will get an interactive explanation of German model verbs. This is perfect if you want to revise the topic before attempting the exercises. And the second session is live training. Here you will click on start training, and this is where the real practice begins. By clicking this start training button here, you will answer multiple choice questions and build German sentences related to today's lesson. The exercises are designed to help you understand how model verbs are used in real life situations. As you complete the questions, you will earn XP points, which make learning more engaging and motivates you to keep practicing consistently. The goal of the practice hub is not just to test your knowledge, but it is helping you to build your confidence. If you made a mistake, don't worry, that's a part of learning. Review the explanation, try again, and you will improve with every attempt. I recommend completing the 5 question quiz first. Once you are comfortable with yourself, you can challenge with the 10 question or 15 questions for extra practice. That's how you can use the German practice hub to strengthen the understanding of model verbs and make your German learning more interactive and enjoyable. Thank you for your attention. If this material was useful, please like the video and subscribe for continued lessons. I welcome your questions and suggestions in the comments. Wir Erfolg and bis zum nächsten Mal.